What is going on, my newbie noobets, and welcome back to the Newbie Network. So today, as promised, we are going to be showcasing the optimizer on the Compendium. So we're going to go over this really quickly, just kind of showcasing it. And this is obviously in a local preview, so this is not live yet, but this is going to be somewhat what it looks like when it does go live. So as you can see, it looks exactly like the Compendium, the character builder, the Toon Forge to be exact, that you see now that you have available. This is going to be the manual version. The optimizer is going to be a premium feature, which I will talk a little bit more towards the end of the video. But like I said, this is a local showcasing of functions and features, and it will be coming soon. So I put out some feelers earlier last week. It's been about 2 weeks now. I've been putting in some long hours and burning the midnight oil, getting this up and running, and we're in a pretty good state. But we're going to do a barbarian. Now, I'm not going to break down everything that the optimizer picks, but I will showcase it. I will show what it does pick. There's some things that still need to be tweaked, but we'll see all that together. So step one, obviously, if you've been using the Toon Forge, you know you have to pick a role, which we're going to pick a DPS role. And you have to pick a class, which will pick Barbarian. There are 3 things that you have to pick for the optimizer to work when it goes live. And these 2 are 2 out of 3. We will hit next. And then the last one you have to pick is going to be your paragon, which we're going to pick Blademaster for DPS. Once you do those 3 things, the optimizer will be fully functional and fully ready to be used. If you want to fill out any of these other things, you can. Just note, if you fill it out and you run the optimizer, there is a chance the optimizer is going to want to replace it, but it don't have to. So now we'll hit optimize. Once you hit here, you get a couple things that you can put on the optimizer, so you can have it do your ability points if you want to, or if you know what you want to do, like if you're going to use strength, right, you might want to take this off. But if you want to let the optimizer do its thing, you just leave all these as where it is. Having this toggle does your ability points. Having this toggle does powers. Now the power section is still very finicky. It's more of a suggestion more than anything. I wouldn't live by this, but it does make decent recommendations at times. And it will also pick our race for us. That's why we left that open. And then here it says your account, but this is going to be like your bolster and things. If you don't have max bolster, if you do have max bolster, you leave this, which is super simple. If you don't have max bolster, you tell it what you have. But we're going to say we have max bolster. And then for your campaign boons, however many you have, you can put that in here as well. And then this last section, which is recently added. I don't know if I want to keep it in there yet or not. But this is for the Raptor. So if you have this, if you check this on, the build is going to put the Raptor in it. And I know right now that is the meta. Everybody's running a Raptor, so 9 times out of 10 you will have it. But if you wanted to see how we would create a build without the Raptor, you would just turn that off and it will build you a build without the Raptor. You'll hit that and you'll click start. You'll get this little message, trying every item in slot, then refining. Usually takes a few minutes. Now this does probably, as of right now, with the amount of gear and everything that's going through, I would say this does take a few minutes. I would say maybe 10-15 minutes or so, you'll have a decent build. However, you will get to watch it build out down here, right? So for DPS, power, combat advantage, crit sev, crit strike, and accuracy are the stats we want. You'll be able to watch these stats build out. And I know the background looks not scrolled, but the background looks grayed out, but you actually can scroll down. And right here, if you can see it, it's going to be our average damage per hit. You can also watch this update live as well. So these stats, they'll improve as the optimizer makes picks. And then you'll also be able to see your damage improve as the optimizer makes picks. As well as here in the optimizer, it'll also have a damage number. Now the damage number in the optimizer and the damage number here are based off 2 different things. The damage that you see in the optimizer here will be just purely off of your gear. But this number here will take all of your buffs, all of your damage, whatever, Anything that improves your damage, your item level comes into effect there. The bonus that you get for being a DPS comes into effect here. So this is going to be the actual number that you're going to want to focus on when it comes to actually doing damage. And there's our first update on gear being picked. So we went from 2k damage to 506k damage, and our stats are starting to fill in. Here we'll also update here shortly. You'll start seeing its iterations that it makes. It'll tell you how many times it's revised the builds. It'll also tell you when it starts to get to a point where it's almost complete. Let me see, what else will this show you? Obviously this number goes up, and if you guys don't know, this isn't a score to say this build is godly or anything. This is a score to say more so how complete the build is. So like there's all these different sections, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Once you go and fill out everything, whether you fill out something super good or something super terrible, as long as you're filling it out, this will start to build up. So that's what that score is for there. As you can see right here, here's our very first pass. Best so far was 105, and now it's starting to tick on, right? Starting to tick. We're starting to hit some of these stats. You'll see things like this, right? It's saying that crit is capped, but the next iteration may find something better. Crit may drop, who knows, power may go to cap. It's going to keep doing that throughout all these iterations. And this could take, like I said, anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes, just kind of dependent on the character, the class, and what's available to it. So I'm going to leave this up. I'm going to leave this running. I'm going to time lapse it, and we'll be back when it's finished. All right, so you can see here now we're at past 12. We're up to 1.4 mil in the optimizer, but 1.7, almost 1.8 mil in your average damage hit. But when we start seeing this point here where there's no further gains, it's going to try 8 times. That lets you know right there that your build is getting close to being roughly about done, or the amount of options that are left are minimizing. So you'll start to see this climb up towards 8. We'll probably have maybe 3 more full passes. Each time this number goes up, these passes will go up as well. So if this were to go all the way up to 8 right now, we would see this be at 15. So I would say roughly around 18 to 20 is when this will actually be finished. That's my assumption, and then we'll see our numbers get down there. But as you can see right now, it has built up to capping power at 120, combat advantage at 109, crit save 120, crit strike 90, and accuracy 88. So we'll let this run a little bit longer, and we'll see what the final numbers are. Okay, so now the optimizer has completed. This is the numbers that it finished with: 120 power, 118 combat advantage, 120 crit save, 90 crit strike, and 89 accuracy. This is what it built out. So this is where it started. This is where it finished. Now this section here tells you where some of the picks came from, and it allows you to go through each section, which is highly important for your optimization. So if you go to gear, it breaks everything down: head, reinforcement kit, armor, reinforcement kit, arms, reinforcement kit, all the way through weapons to your feet. Same thing, neck, shirt, pants, rings, waist, all that there. And that shows you for every section. These are the companions that it's choosing to say for this build, enchantments that you should have, your mounts and the insignia bonuses, the artifact you should run. And if you left the ability points on, this is in the race. This is the race it's saying to choose. And these are the powers. And then these are the ability points you should go into. Strength and dex. Buffs, hot wings, spider totem, sunlord's elixir, flask of potency. And this is where to throw your boons. Now, you'll see these things like don't have it or enchantment, not this rarity. What that does is, obviously this is saying this will be the best build that you can make what's available in Neverwinter. Right, there's obviously some more tweaks in there, but if you don't have, let's say you don't have this piece of gear yet, right? And let's say you don't even know what it is. You hit the magnifying glass and it'll tell you what it is. The winter marked ravages health, it gives you the item level, gives you the combined rating, the stats it has, and the equip bonus and what could use it. Let's say you don't have this piece. What you would do is you'll say, I don't have it. And then you'd get this option to rerun, but you don't want to do this one piece at a time. You'd want to do it on a couple different pieces. Like let's say you don't have these rings, right? The frost silver rings. Those are the celestial rings. Yeah. Yep. Those are the celestial rings. So let's say you don't have those yet. It will say you don't have that. And let's say the shirt and pants. These are the celestial shirt and pants, right? This will keep building up. And then for enchantments, right now it's only for enchantments because it's reading all the enchantments as celestial. But let's say you don't have one of these enchantments as celestial. Let's say you don't have this citrine as celestial. What you'll say is you don't have it at that rarity, right? And what it's going to do is then going back to re-optimize. Now, this is going to be tweaked a little bit more so it doesn't instantly start your re-optimization. So you can go through each one of those sections, but that's what you would do. So then when it re-optimizes like it's doing now, it's going to say, okay, you don't have a celestial citrine. So then the next best option would then be the mythic citrine. So it will try to throw the mythic citrine in there. If the mythic citrine doesn't work well with the build, it's going to replace it altogether. So I'm going to let this finish and then I'll come back when this is done and we'll look at some of the few changes that it made and keep going on with the optimizer. Okay, so that optimizer finished re-optimizing. So we have a different helm here now. We have a combat advantage helm versus the crit strike helmet. Some other things have changed, but we'll go past that. So now the build shows us that we have 120 power, 120 combat advantage. With that did change. The crit sev is now 120. Our accuracy is, our crit strike is just at 90 and our accuracy is still at 89. So like I said, you would keep doing this each time until you don't have anything that you don't have, right? And if you can still hit this button, you'll re-optimize, you'll keep doing that. So let's say this is perfect. Let's say we have all this stuff. So what you can do, there's two other things that you can do. You can say it looks good and keep it, and it'll send you right back to the manual builder for any kind of manual changes you want. But you also now have this thing called Forgemaster's Verdict, which again is only available to you if you unlock the optimizer, which is through the new membership that will be on YouTube once this goes live. But what this does, it pairs up with the optimizer, right? So the optimizer is an AI that's running through numbers, reading gear, running formulas, that's picking what they think is best. But now if you hit the Forgemaster Verdict, it's going to inspect this build. It's going to read everything that it chose, and it's going to kind of tell you how it should be played and why it made the picks that it makes, so you can kind of get a better understanding, right? So like, if you want to know why something is a little bit different, this is where the Forgemaster is going to run. That's going to take a little bit of time. It's not going to take nowhere near as long as the optimizer took, but it will, again, like I said, it's reading all the gear, all the campaign, enchantments, mounts, artifacts, all the insignia bonuses that it chose, all the buffs, all the boons it chose, all of the mounts and the ability scores, all that it chose. That's what this is inspecting. It's reading all that. It's reading all the buffs. So once that's finished, it's going to kind of give you a list or detail summary of the build itself and kind of tell you these were chosen, or this is why this is the way it is because of X, Y, and Z. It's going to kind of give you a rundown on a play style. It's also going to kind of give you a rundown on the rotation that you're going to want to use. Like you see, it's going to tell you all about it, the play style of this build, how it should be ran, how you should play it, how your encounters and your rotation should be. Here's an opener, and then your rotation should go in this order. Things to keep a lookout for. And these are kind of flags about the build itself. Like this is telling you it has a penalty to one of your stats because of that's just how that piece of gear is ran. And then here, it tells you how many of these you have, right? So for the members that go this route, you have 30 times to hit this Forgemaster button or this other one that's right here, which I'll show you in a second. But let's say after all this, you liked everything, you read this, you understand it, makes sense. You'll say it looks good, keep this. Once you hit that, all those changes that optimizer made is now here. So you can go back here, you can see your item level is gonna be 141. It chose con. It made the ability point selection and strength and dex. Here's all the powers and everything that it made for you, right? Gear, same thing, all the gear and whatnot. The companions and mounts, same thing, filled in. Since we ticked that we have max bolster, it gave us 10. Now we have 120 and 125. Slotted everything for you that you needed for insignias, for mounts, made all that. Our boons, the boons act a little funny. You have to take one away and they add it back and then they pop up, but I will be fixing that. And then see it in action is what we've already seen from the manual builder. So those of you who don't become a member, you still have the manual builder completely available to you. Those who become a member have the optimizer as an addition to that. We also have in this section down towards the bottom, some of your stats may be like missing something here. Like a lot of times combat advantage usually tends to be short, but this is where you can come in here and get your party buffs, where you can go and get something like tutor, right? Boom, you can add tutor and you get that 5%. So right now it would be over cap. And you still have the detail pane, which will give you all your stats. So currently with this build, we are 9% over on power. Now you have this up here. These are to show you some of the things that are hidden in there. So this represents right now what you'd look like unbuffed and out of combat, and then you unhide your buffs, unhide your party buffs, and unhide your combat, and then your stats would look normal. So that's why, like I said, it's nearly capped. This says 90, but in reality, you're at 89.7, 0.3% off. But that's what you'd be. There's a health here as well for some of our bonuses that are based off your health. So you have the ability to adjust your health to kind of see how that tweaks. There'll be more that comes to this, but this is kind of, again, like I said, what it would look like. 141,000 item level, 1.6 billion hit points, and your damage would be, this is the stat that's in Neverwinter, 16.9k. Now this Forgemaster does exactly the same thing as the optimizer one does. The only difference is you don't have to go through the optimizer. So if you were to make a change, right, like I just made this change to have tutor here, you can re-hit this button and it will reread the build, give you all the exact same kind of information, but it will be different because you've made some changes. So this is just the same thing that's in here, just you don't have to go to the optimizer. The featured build will be some of the builds that the optimizer and the AI came up with. They're saying are kind of best in slot builds, but this is not done yet. So when the optimizer goes live, this most likely won't be there. You only have the optimizer and the Forgemaster. So that right now is where the state of the AI is. I've used it a little bit. I've actually used it on my Warlock that I main, and I've actually found some combinations of gear and whatnot that I wasn't even thinking was an option or a thing. And it actually has put out a very good build. So this is something you're looking forward to. I highly recommend becoming a member of the Noob Network. And the membership that you're going to be looking for, currently our highest tier is, I want to say, is Train Noob, or no, I think it's Elite Noob. But there will be a new membership. It's going to be called the Legendary Noob, which will unlock these optimizer and the Forgemaster for you. There's just a few things I have left to tweak for the DPS side, and then I'll be moving on to the tank and the healer. And once the tank and the healer optimization and AI building is complete, that's when the optimizer itself will go live and will be available to you all. Now, for you all to help expedite and speed up the process of sending this out live, just utilizing the Toon Forge, finding errors, numbers, gears that are missing, buffs that aren't buffing, finding those things and making reports actually speeds up this process. Because as of right now, I find a lot of these errors myself, and I fix them, and I got a few other people that daily are trying to find things that aren't working. Like their sole purpose right now is just to find things that aren't working. And those are speeding up the process of the release of the optimizer and the AI for the Toon Forge. I'm like super excited to push this out. Like I wish I can give it to you all live now. However, like there's bugs and there's things that are being worked through. However, the DPS side is in a very good spot, hence why there's a video out for it. Once I get the tank and the healer in very good spots, there'll be videos for those. So once all three of those videos are out, you can expect the optimizer to roll out fairly shortly after that. It took about 2 weeks or so to get the optimizer in this state. So if the other two roles follow that same suit, we're probably looking at maybe about a month or so before this is completely live and completely ready to go. But I'm trucking right along. I'm letting it cook, as they say. I'm letting it cook. So if you guys help me by finding those bugs and speeding up this process, then that would be amazing. There's two ways to report bugs or whatever. If you find a piece of gear that has wrong stats on it, let's say like this has something wrong. Well, actually, let's say this is wrong here. There's something here is wrong. You'll just hit the pencil, and then it gives you all the sections that you can change, right? Like if this name was wrong, you would hit that. If this buff was wrong, you would hit that. If it didn't give awareness, it gave something else, you'd hit this. Or if it did give awareness but not this amount, you would hit that. And all those changes you make are instant changes to your build, and then those reports send reports back to me for me to verify and then make corrections. And then if there's something missing completely, you'd hit this guy up here. Once you hit this guy, you would just say, you know, what it is, the item level, whatever stats it gives, the values, the combined rating. If it has a set, you'd put it here, and then whatever in-game restriction it has, and then what class it goes to. And then that would allow that to go into your build, and then that report would be sent to me. You also have the old school manual way reports, where you can create a whole report right in here. And you would say, give a kind of brief description, like companion buff damage section. What is it? Is it a bug, missing item, or a suggestion? Suggestions are cool of things that you want to see added to the compendium. And then you give a description. And if you could, especially if it's for something missing or if it's stats wrong, if you could add a screenshot, that would be super helpful for diagnosing super quickly. But if you can't, it is what it is. Hit report, and then the report will go in, and then you will see it up here. So as of right now, I have 2 active reports, and these are cleric weapons that are missing. So these are things that I need to go verify and then add into the compendium and the optimizer. So that's a little sneak peek on the compendium optimizer, which will be hopefully coming soon once I finish the tank and the healing side. And let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you're looking forward to something like this, because I think this is super neat, and I think it's something that's never been done before, and I think a lot of people will benefit from it. So until next time, I'm Nubahard, and I'll catch you in the next one. If you missed the last episode in this series, you can catch up right here in the top left. Check out the playlist in the bottom left for all the videos in this series. My latest adventure is in the top right. I had a lot of fun recording it, and I think you might like it too. And YouTube has handpicked a video for you in the bottom right. I'm curious to know what it is, so check it out and let me know if they chose wisely. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in to the Nuba Network. I'm Nubahard, and I'll see you in the next one.